Here we only got one rule. Never, ever let it cool. Keep it cooking in the pot.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time of the
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
They had a good pass. Went around the trees.
Prospero año y
That one was live. Second time. I had to bring him on my shoulders up the hill, back over the hill. Take her off the train.
Hey Zach, say hi to Mommy and Daddy.
That's toxic waste.
Can't afford to do it again.
Oh, give her another one. Dylan, are you hot? Are you fine?
May I have your attention? May I have your attention, please? We will be making a brief stop to clear the track of caribou. Oh, this train is on a very tight schedule. There can be no Christmas without the Polar Express arriving on time. Ah, this is some serious jelly. We are in a jam. Steamer, clear those caribou off the track right now. Get 'em. Alrighty then, here we go.
Bottle, bottle, rain.
All I want for Christmas is a rock and roll electric guitar. And then a wee red Rudolph, whizzing like a shooting star. Run, run, Rudolph, Santa with the making and jump. Santa make him hurry, tell him he can take the freeway down. Run, run, Rudolph, reeling like a merry-go-round. Little baby doll that can cry, sleep, drink, and wept. And then away went Rudolph, whizzing like a saber jet.
Yeah, you hop on the train and go to work.
Santa gotta make it to town. Santa make him hurry, tell him he can take the freeway down. Run, run, Rudolph, I'm reeling like a merry-go-round. We are about to start the story of the Polar Express. If you have your own copy of the Polar Express, you are welcome to follow along as the story is read by the author, Chris Van Osborne. For those of you who don't have a copy, our chefs will be walking the aisles showing you the pictures. And now, boys and girls, the story of the Polar Express.
Greetings! Merry Christmas and welcome aboard. This is Chris Van Osborne, the author of the Polar Express. Thank you for coming along on this magical journey to the North Pole. As we roll northward, I'd like to tell you the story of what happened to me when I was 8 years old. The story of the Polar Express. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted. But I knew he was wrong. Late that night I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house.
Did Mackie take the twins on there? Huh? Did Mackie take the twins?
It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. The conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest and looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door.
All aboard!
The conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with muted centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. The North Pole. It was a huge city, standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. "Look!" shouted one of the children, "the elves!" Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl, so crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped, and the conductor led us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and, pointing to me, said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine. But the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeer's names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in a cold, dark, polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas!" he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not put a sign. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell. But as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I have grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe.
And not a minute to spare. We've just crossed latitude 66 degrees, 33 minutes north, the Arctic Circle. In just one moment, the chefs will be turning off the lights in your car so you can look out the right side of the train for someone very special waiting to see you. So that Santa can greet all children on board the Polar Express and take snapshots with him on the current as he walks through your car.
Alright everyone, you may have heard the conductor, but in case you didn't, I'm going to repeat it. We just crossed the Arctic Circle, meaning that we're approaching the North Pole. The best view for our kids is going to be over here on the CD side of the train. So kids, make your way on over. Adults, if you're on the CD side and you notice some kids that might want to join you, we'd appreciate it if you let them join your family for the moment, or if you'd swap them seats. We are going to turn the lights off in just a couple of moments, but before we do that, I'm going to give you some moments to get situated and explain the game that I like to play. As we approach the North Pole, I want you to press your face up against the window and look towards the front of the train. As you do so, when you see the first lights of the North Pole, I want you to shout, "Affirmative," as loud as you can. So practice run. You see the lights of the North Pole and you say, "That's pretty good."
the spirit.
Poor guy's gonna be sick.
Did you see Santa, Michael?
Look at that tree. Wow.
Oh, look here.
We stopped to pick up Santa, right? No. Supposed to pick him up.
He's never come around. I think of him when Christmas comes to die.
Something going on the 17th. Happy holidays.
Christmas comes to town. Presents for the children, red and green. All the things I've heard about, but never really seen. No one will be sleeping on the night of Christmas Eve. Hoping Santa's on his way.
Just found the girls. Just get
Folks, did the train just stop?